Hey, how you doing? Welcome to IlluminatedNubians.com. My name is Rondell Jordan. I'm the author of the book series, which is a Afrocentric Bible study and travel guide, all right, where we study sacred real-world history secretly hidden in our Bibles, all right. Now, Illuminated Nubians is the birthplace of what we call gods. At that time, they were referred to as Neter, and which represented divine principles, right? The concepts that connect us to the divine, all right? And this is not the divine on the outside, actually, it's the divine within, all right? So this is the reason why it's important for us to connect to our roots. All right, so it's my responsibility to introduce you to my book and then show you why I think it's important that you have a copy, right? So I want you to purchase a copy to join in our weekly group study discussions, all right? And you will be able to follow along. I think that you will find this journey absolutely fascinating, right? And very profound, all right, when it comes to our worldview, world order, history, the scriptures, everything that is important regarding our social sphere, our social aspect, and how we relate to the world and in regards to others spiritually, right? So that's my spiel for right now. I want to appreciate you thank you for listening. I want to ask you to please subscribe to my channel. You can simply go to IlluminatedNubians.com and join our email list, because I will be sending weekly episodes and weekly discussions, all right, and even assignments, right? I have a Patreon group that you can join, support this type of content, and become more involved, depending on whichever level you would like to choose to support us at. All right, so you can just find us at patreon.com/scholars, and all the links are below. Thank you for listening. Until next time, keep the faith. Peace. Adam was formed as opposed to created. Man-made, like domesticated sheep, are formed from the muflun. The process of domestication is a skill process, which includes removing the subject from its roots, its natural energy source, including its parents, environment, and diet, and making the individual codependent on the diet provided by its master. This includes doctrine. The word Lord is an English synonym for master. It's a choice or approved term. As a matter of fact, King James' father held the title Henry Stuart, Lord Darnley. Choice words like garden instead of plantation, Lord instead of master, and took instead of captured are used to soften the approved narrative. And then the opposite is true regarding Africans. The description of the serpent was changed in the NKJV from subtle to cunning in Genesis 3:1, and from beguiles to deceive in verse 13. Significant alterations are apparent all throughout the Bible. The African, indigenous, and most Europeans, like Adam, underwent a domestication process that made them unconscious, like in Genesis 2:21. And like Adam, his eyes weren't open until he consumed the fruits of knowledge in Genesis 3:7. All right, so as you can see here, if we come to Genesis 1, the history of creation, God created. All right, the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. Okay, the Spirit of God. Then you'll see the attributes of God. God said, God saw, God divided, God called. Okay, said, made, called, said, saw, said, saw. You can either also add and gather together, all right, and also divide it, all right. So there's certain specific attributes to God. God made. Again, set. Now it's very important to notice that, okay? And then they're also confirmed because it's used multiple times. All right, until you come to 27. And then 27 is very important. 26 is important, and 28 is very important when it comes to man and woman. But here it says, so God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female. He created them. You see, specifically, created is used 3 times because God created, as it said in the beginning. Now, created means specifically to bring something into existence. All right? To cause something to happen, to originate. All right? It has a very specific meaning in the use of it, okay? To form out of nothing, use of a divine or supernatural being. So created is very specific in its meaning, and it used it 3 times so that you know there's no coincidence. All right? God created, brought into existence from nothing. Now, this is very important because male and female are created in the same breath, in the same verse, right? In the same concept together. All right? And this is true in all forms of nature, right? And before human beings were created, animal created male and female. Plant life have male and female positions, roles, genders, right? The birds. So it doesn't begin with us. So well before man and woman, male and female, that concept existed. All right. So to speed through it again, God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it, have dominion over the fish, the seas, over the birds of the air, over every living thing that moves on the earth. Now, keep in mind that when we're talking about God, we're also talking about the earth. The earth. Okay? We're not talking about the fields, which is very important. Okay? Now, God also made. Made means to piece together the parts of something, right? So it's very similar, very closely related to create, right? To made or formed in a particular place or by a particular process. All right, to form something by putting parts together or combining substance, construct. So this has a different indication to it. All right, now it's the second of the Trinity. All right, the third would be formed. Now in Genesis 1, it says that the earth was without form. Okay, without form. So form has nothing to do with God. Okay, it doesn't say God formed, right? Now, it's very important to understand that or acknowledge that God said, be fruitful and multiply, which means to be procreative. And the only way for that to occur is if, man and woman applied the knowledge of creation or procreation, right? So God intended them to be knowledgeable, procreative, right? Fruitful. So if you notice Genesis 2, the beginning actually is the ending of chapter 1, right? The history of the heavens and the earth when they were created. Now we're going into the transition to the Lord God, which is very important. This is a very, very important point here, because we're going from God, who had created and made. You see how it concludes God with distinguishing that he created and made, not created, formed and made. Okay? The earth is without form, but God created and he made. Now, it also said specifically that he ended his work. God ended his work and he had rested, right? Right? He rested on the seventh day, and then he blessed the seventh day. Sanctified is another attribute, right? All right, and then he rested again from all his work, and it says God he created and made. So this is the primary attributes of what the writer in Genesis wants you to remember about Genesis 1, about God. Just God, not God, the Lord God. All right. So now the conclusion of chapter 1 really is ending here in verse 4. And then now chapter 2 is beginning. And the reason why I say this is because now we're talking about the plants of the field. All right. So this is where we are now getting into the landlord. The plant of the field was in the earth before any herb of the field had grown. So now we're using the word field twice, right? And we're transitioning out of God, out of earth, into Lord God, into the field. Thank you for listening. I just wanted to give you a little sample of what you could expect in a Bible study guide or a training session with me. This training session goes on beyond an hour. So if you want to listen to the full episode, the full video, just click the link below. All right. And be sure to leave your comments, because that's the most important part of this. This is for conversation. And like, comment, and share. Share with anybody who kind of fits the description. You know, this is not for everybody, but for those who do enjoy scholarship. This is not really religion. This has more to do with a scholar's perspective, right? Where we can actually go and physically touch and see the evidence. Okay. All right. So with that said, thank you for your time. Until next time. Peace.